So yesterday, Bungie announced the delay for Shadow and Order, and I kind of just want to talk more about that today, and honestly, just ask the question whether or not Destiny can survive a 3.5 month delay with literally nothing going on. Because, in the past, when we've had these delays in Destiny, we've had something to kind of supplement those droughts. Whether it be the 30th anniversary or Into the Light or whatever, we've always kind of had something to do, and also those delays came before major expansions like Witch Queen or, Final Shape. Whereas this is coming before a major update, not even a full fledged expansion. So, it's almost a different story in that regard because it's like how the hell, are we having this big of a delay for, a major update? And then, you start to ask the question, what led here? And really, it's Bungie has to undo all of the damage that Edge of Fate's changes did, right? So, I mean, in some ways, this is necessary, right? This is absolutely necessary because Bungie has to find a way to get Destiny above water, right? Renegades was solid, but it didn't solve the issues necessarily that Edge of Fate caused in the first place. And they have to find a way to get Destiny back to basically where it was in Heresy, where the game was above water and, the LFG population wasn't off of a cliff because no one wanted to run raids and stuff like that. So, Bungie announced a bunch of changes yesterday that are going to come in this June 9th update that are supposed to get Destiny's head above water, basically. They're going to be adding tier upgrading. You're going to be able to upgrade your tiered weapons. They're adding tiered exotic armor. They're going to be refreshing every single raid and dungeon in the game with new perks and tiered loot. And obviously that stuff had to happen because, again, they created all of these unnecessary issues when they launched Edge of Fate. So this kind of update absolutely had to happen. It could have came alongside a major expansion, I suppose, but it really, before Destiny could ever hope to be in a good spot again, this had to happen. So in that regard, I 100% understand why this is happening, but at the same time, you got to think like what the hell is going to happen to Destiny over the next few months if player counts are already bleeding and people are already absolutely in the gutter morale wise. Like I've been seeing on Twitter, man, and I know Twitter is kind of like an echo chamber of negativity a lot of the times anyway, and social media can kind of be like that, but also like that stuff is generally a way to gauge the feedback on like, just on the game as a whole and on however people feel about a thing. And when you see overwhelming negativity, there's almost no positivity about this situation. And I've tried to give the very, very little positivity I could muster about it, which is basically just that this had to happen, right? These changes that are coming in this update had to happen at some point for Destiny to ever hope to thrive again. So, when you have community sentiment this poor and you have a 3 month, 3.5 month, whatever delay on your hands, it's like, it's hard to imagine that this player base is not going to be dipping into the low thousands, soon because we're already kind of trending in that direction right now. And this was before the delay even was announced, and there's nothing going on in the game. Sure, you got Guardian games coming next month. I'm going to be real with you. I don't think anyone gives a shit about Guardian games at this point. I'm sorry to say that, but I feel like that's just kind of where we are right now, right? No one is excited for these little mini events that we're going to have or any of the events that are in the game already, like Guardian games. Like it's just not meaningful content. It's cool when the game is already thriving, like you want to participate in the Dawning and Festival of the Lost and all that when the game is actually thriving. But honestly, Guardian games has never really been that popular of an event in the first place, I feel like, and it's not going to help this situation. So we basically have nothing coming for the next 3 months, 3.5 months, whatever, until June. And I don't know how we're going to get there with this game in one piece, frankly. And we haven't even talked about the fact that even after this is over, we have no clue when the next expansion is over, right? We're going to be getting this in June. At that point, you got to think the expansion's probably at the earliest coming in September, and that's maybe being generous because we have to assume that nothing else has fallen behind schedule. So if it's coming in September, October-ish, maybe somewhere around that ballpark, and if anything goes wrong there, it might be further delayed. We're not getting 2 expansions this year like we did last year. That's already basically out the window at this point. It's pretty much impossible, I would imagine, because based on the calendar that we've had for Destiny and the schedule that we've gone by for Destiny all this time, at absolute earliest, again, we're looking September through December. Anywhere in that ballpark, I would say, are kind of like the sweet spots for when you could expect this expansion to release. The Shattered Cycle, I believe, is what it's called. And then you've got the Alchemist, which is the other. I assume they're continuing to do this 2 expansion a year kind of thing. And if that is the case, then again, we're already way behind schedule, and this isn't going to be a 2 expansion a year kind of thing anymore. So the future of Destiny right now is very much up in the air. It's like, we don't know what's going on. We've not really gotten clear communication from Bungie. Everyone's been spamming for the roadmap for months. And honestly, after the delay, it just seems like a wave of negativity in general. It doesn't seem like people even really care to see the roadmap anymore. I'm seeing people that I've seen involved with the Destiny scene for years basically just checking out at this point all over social media. And the vibes have honestly never been worse than this. Even back in like Curse of Osiris, I don't think the vibes were this low. And we're coming off of a pretty solid expansion in Renegades right now, and that's the sad part, right? I mean, it's not great, but it's a pretty solid expansion by all accounts. So, like, if vibes are already this down, man, I don't know how we're going to get from point A to point B with anybody still having interest. And I mean, when we actually get there and this update releases, I think it could be a solid update for the game. I mean, there's a lot of people that refer to End of the Light as one of the best times to ever play Destiny. There are people out there that will genuinely say that that was better than most expansions, and honestly, I kind of have to agree with them. Like, End of the Light was awesome. So if we're getting basically Into the Light 2.0, then I think that would be really good for the game. I think that's something that would be awesome. But again, you got to wage like how many people are truly done this time, And people say that. I understand people say that. But like, is this actually the final straw for Destiny? For a lot of people, for Destiny 2. Like I saw somebody on Twitter say today basically that they were just done with Destiny 2. They still had interest in the franchise, but they would not be playing again until Destiny 3 no matter what. And there's a lot of people who feel that way. There's a lot of people who are checked out who haven't played since Final Shape, and that number is just growing and growing with every controversy, with everything that goes on with this game, man. It just gets so exhausting, and I understand that. Like, I want to be here. I want to cover this game. I want to make content on this game. I want to play the game. I love the game. Genuinely, I do. I've played Destiny for over a decade at this point, well over a decade, and I still want to continue playing the game. I still have love for it. But it's so frustrating to see all of the ways that it's been mishandled and mismanaged and everything like that. And I mean, you got Marathon coming up, and obviously they're going to be dumping a lot of resources into that. And I don't know how many resources Bungie has. I don't know how spread thin they really are. So genuinely, there's just a lot of questions with this game's future right now, man. And with a delay like this coming up, with no expansion plans in sight, I mean, obviously we know there's going to be an expansion at some point that's, I would assume, in the works, but again, we're having this major delay for the major update. You got to ask questions, man. Genuinely, like right now, this is the time where we have got to ask questions as a community about what the future of Destiny is. And Bungie has got to communicate with us better. That's all there is to it. If this game is going to continue to exist, Bungie is going to have to communicate better. The radio silence for all these months waiting on the delay in the first place, we basically found out about the delay a month ago. We found out from Paul Tassi that there was a delay. We should not be hearing from Paul Tassi that there's a delay. Bungie should be speaking to us directly to tell us there's a delay. Like, this whole communication process, the roadmap, the whole ordeal where people have been spamming Bungie's Twitter for our roadmap for months, there's a reason why that's been happening, right? There's a reason. It's because they told us that we were going to get a roadmap and then basically went radio silent for months, and then they gave us a roadmap that was different from the one that was originally promised. They gave us like the Renegades roadmap and stuff like that right before Renegades came out, and we have gotten absolutely no communication since, basically. It's been radio silent since Renegades dropped. Until now, where we're finding out that this update's delayed for 3.5 months. So, I mean, I understand why the vibes are as bad as they are and stuff like that. And this is honestly just me ranting at this point, I understand this is another Destiny rant, and I hate it, man. I hate having to make videos like this. I hate having to be negative about this game. I want so badly. I want to be able to come on here and be like, hey guys, this is why I'm excited as fuck to play Destiny. This is what I'm looking forward to in Destiny. This is what could, happen for Destiny. But it's not like that. Every single video I make on this game at this point, and honestly, as a community, every single video that you see about Destiny at this point is negative. I mean, you look at your sub box right now from every Destiny content creator that you're probably subscribed to, if you're in this community, you're probably seeing every single content creator doom and gloom, panicking, because these people are, they're staking their livelihoods on this game, and this isn't even my livelihood, and I'm still stressed about it, man. Like, it's crazy, Like, this is bad. This is genuinely really fucking bad, and I just hope that, we can get out of this with this game intact. I really do. I hope that, the vibes get better. I want to see the vibes get better. I want to see the community happy again and having fun and actually wanting to play Destiny. I want my friends to want to play Destiny, man. I don't like when my friend list is empty and barren and my clan is entirely empty and barren every time I get online. It's sad. It's genuinely sad, man. So, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, I guess. I'm going to continue to cover the game as long as I humanly possibly can, obviously. But right now, things are not looking great. So that's where we are, I guess. If you like this, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. Peace.